The peace of Christ. St. Paul reminds us that it surpasses all understanding. Those privileged souls in the human race who have had access to the beyond in ecstatic mode can be seen to be in deep peace. Unfortunately, if one looks at the day as it is not always peaceful, and we are responsible. Let us look at what takes away our peace. First of all, we talk too much. Is it not true that when we're with a person who cannot stop, after a while we switch off and we start to hope it will finish? Is it not true that after a while we lose hope of having any input? We lose hope of having any communication. Our ministry at that point is that of receiving, of allowing a person to offload and therefore to reduce his pain. But it could be someone else doing the same. Our word is not needed. And so our peace also is taken away, because at that point we are involved with a person who is emitting vast amounts of unpeace. But then, when we are alone, are we peaceful? We have a choice between drifting towards that magnet which is the source of all peace, or drifting away from it to the noise of the world. Right now, available at our fingertips. It is important that we realize the contamination of the human race through technology. If we do not, then we will not be prepared. Because when we came into the world, we were not forewarned that this was going to happen. Now we need instructions for use, the use of life. And the pearl of great price is peace. Now I would like to look at what St. Paul is saying here. He links it with methen merimnate, worry for nothing. Now, this question of caring without caring, worrying without worrying, is a secret. And if it's not mastered, we will never know peace. There is a mode which tendentially increases peace greatly. It's that of the poor creature who recognizes his truth, that he has no rights over the creation, and therefore all is a bonus. The creature who is rich and owns many things has many rights, but they're all false. To defend those rights, he will have huge desires, and all the creation must obey those desires. The poor in heart, and only the poor in heart, is free. And therefore, the poor in heart receives life, receives the day. I'd like to look at one specific area, however. It's this. It's the way in which, when the soul is close to Jesus, then something else comes into play. It feels his peace. It feels something of his joy, and that relativizes any other joy that we might think to be essential. Who cares? if this or that happens, as long as it's in the divine will. And what is not within the divine will? Sin. And so we suffer the consequences of our sin and those of others. But God writes straight with crooked lines. And "O Felix culpa" can be said often with regard to mistakes. O happy thought. Only if we take it from there and don't stay on the ground, there can be, as it were, a grace in a mistake, the grace of poverty, of spirit, humility, contrition. But we need to grasp it and not admit defeat and the victory of sin over our soul. Satan was never in peace from the moment of his first fall. Hell is not a peaceful place, and those in communion with it and its ministers are unpeaceful, essentially, ontologically, profoundly, radically. We cannot gain peace if we hover around them often and too much. On the other hand, peace aids also our comportment. Tension is a bad advisor, and we act well when we act calmly. The miracle of the landing over the Hudson is well known. There was much prayer going on in that aircraft. One in particular was pulling on the promise of divine mercy, for it was the hour of mercy. He himself was a pilot and knew what was going on, but couldn't do anything but pray. And he impetrated a grace, and the pilot was given a miraculous power to land on the water. 1 millimeter would have been disastrous. And do you know what it was? The miracle of utter, complete, 100% calm.